Energi bukanlah hanya sebuah reaksi.
Dia selalu ada dimanapun itu.
Membawa yang baik menjadi hebat.
Setinggi apa kamu bisa melompat?
Jawabannya, tinggi apa yang kamu ingin gapai?
Karena tidak ada lagi batas. Kemanapun lintasan masa membawa.
Harapan, hati, dan mata yang berkelana. Dari masa kini hingga ke masa depan.
Yang sebentar lagi bisa kamu genggam.
Sejauh mana kamu bisa bermimpi?
Jawabannya, sejauh yang hati kamu inginkan.
Dengan energi dan gerakan kamu.
Pertamina, energizing you.
Setiap langkah tujuan. Tujuan untuk perubahan. Bersama, terus ke atas dan fokus berkontribusi untuk mengembangkan. Kami hadir untuk melayani. Selalu bahagia berkembang bersama untuk mereka yang ingin melangkah lebih tinggi. Fokus pada hilirisasi pertanian dan ekosistem desa secara komprehensif. Dari hulu ke hilir. Hingga menembus jangkauan. Dalam aspek intermediasi finansial. Melayani setiap saat. Inovasi layanan digital memberikan kemudahan setiap transaksi Anda. Dimanapun dan kapanpun. Dengan satu tekad. Melayani Provinsi Sang Bumi Wajurai. Menjadikan kami mitra terpercaya Anda. Sebagai BPD komersial yang kompetitif. Bank Lampung, bahagia melayani dari hati.
Kami Bank Lampung.
Bangun tidur, bisa langsung mujur. Tetap bisa siaga walau ada hal tak terduga. Walau sempat panik, tetap masih bisa asik. Waktunya ngecil sambil ngemil.
Paket.
Bisa diandalkan di saat situasi tidak aman. Mau raih impian? Bisa dengan Pegadaian. Dengan Pegadaian digital, semua urusan jadi mudah. Ayo download aplikasinya.
Energi bukanlah hanya sebuah reaksi.
Dia selalu ada dimanapun itu.
Membawa yang baik menjadi hebat.
Setinggi apa kamu bisa melompat?
Jawabannya, tinggi apa yang kamu ingin gapai?
Karena tidak ada lagi batas. Kemanapun lintasan masa membawa.
Harapan, hati, dan mata yang berkelana. Dari masa kini hingga ke masa depan.
Yang sebentar lagi bisa kamu genggam.
Sejauh mana kamu bisa bermimpi?
Jawabannya, sejauh yang hati kamu inginkan.
Dengan energi dan gerakan kamu
Dan kamu. Pertamina, energizing you.
Setiap langkah mempunyai tujuan. Tujuan untuk perubahan. Bersama, terus ke atas dan fokus berkontribusi untuk mengembangkan. Kami hadir untuk melayani. Selalu bahagia berkembang bersama untuk mereka yang ingin melangkah lebih tinggi. Fokus pada hilirisasi pertanian dan ekosistem desa secara komprehensif. Dari hulu ke hilir. Hingga menembus jangkauan. Dalam aspek intermediasi finansial. Melayani setiap saat. Inovasi layanan digital memberikan kemudahan setiap transaksi Anda. Dimanapun dan kapanpun. Dengan satu tekad. Melayani Provinsi Sang Bumi Dua Jurai. Menjadikan kami mitra terpercaya Anda. Sebagai BPD komersial yang kompetitif. Bank Lampung, bahagia melayani dari hati.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially open the ICB 6 for today, let us welcome the dance from SKB Production, Dendang Melayu.
Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big applause for ICEBE Production Undang Layu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Habibun. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Lampung, represented by Vice Rector of General and Finance Affairs, Professor Rudy LLM, LLD, and all the Vice Rector of Universitas Lampung. The Honorable Representative of Universitas of Faculty of Economics Business Universitas Pasundan, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Bangka Belitung, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Lampung, Professor Dr. Nairobi S.A. MSc.
The Honorable all the Dean, the Vice Dean, the Head of the Department, the Head of the Study Program of Universitas Lampung, and to the Honorable Keynote Speaker for today, Mr. Bambang Hermanto, Head of the Financial Service Authority OJK in Lampung Province, the Honorable invited speakers for today, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, CEO of WR Advisory Group Philippines, Professor Dr. Imberin Bujang, ASDK, ADK, Professor of University Technology Mara Malaysia, Dr. Ernie Hendrawati SAMSE, Vice Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Lampung, Dr. Serkan Yüksel, Head of Istanbul Financial Center, Republic of Turkey, Dr. George Varlamov, Professor, University of Management, Technology, and Economics, St. Petersburg, Russia. And last but not least, all the committee, the distinguished participants, and the attendees.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the 6th International Conference of Economics, Business, and Entrepreneurship 2023, with a theme and echoing the financial and digital transformation to support inclusive economic growth. Today, Wednesday, September 13, 2023, in Radisson, Lampung.
Sixth ICEBE is conducted by the Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Lampung in collaboration with Universitas Pasundan,
Universitas Bangka Belitung,
Universitas Sriwijaya,
University of Management, Technologies, and Economics,
with the aim to promote inclusiveness, discussion with various development actors, lecturers, academicians, and researchers to enhance awareness about business after the pandemic and to support business growth in Indonesia with many implementation of real products.
This event sponsored by PT Pertamina Persero,
Otoritas Jasa Keuangan,
PT Bukit Asam Persero,
PT Pegadaian Wilayah 2 Palembang,
PT Pupuk Sriwijaya,
Pemerintah Kabupaten Waikanan,
Penerbit Erlangga,
Bank Lampung,
and our media's partner for today's event, Tegar TV and Unila TV. Together with me, Adrian Shah,
and me, Hanifa. It is an honor for us to be able to host today's event in this auspicious occasion. We would like to appreciate for all of the attendees that participating with this event by Zoom. Please kindly open your camera and mute your microphone to maintain the order of this event. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next agenda is singing National Anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by Hymne Universitas Lampung. For the Zoom participants, please listen attentively, and for the audience here, please raise. Indonesia Raya. Himne Universitas Lampung.
Puji syukur ku panjatkan Tuhan surgauni bangku senantiasa membentuk pribadi dewasa Indonesia Tidai Unilah sepanjang masa.
The audience, please have a seat.
So that today's activities can run well and smoothly, the next agenda is the chanting prayer by Mr. Andri Kasrani, SPD. To Mr. Andri Kasrani, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a moment to ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala so that the implementation of the sixth ICEBE International Conference runs smoothly, has benefits, and gets an abundance of blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Ladies and gentlemen, I will lead the prayer in an Islamic manner. For those who are of other religions, please pray according to the procedure of your religions. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. حمدا شاكرين، حمدا ناعمين، حمدا يا معبود، حمدا يعافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على محمد صلاة تجينا بها من جميع الأول والآفات وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك أعلى الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا ولجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم يسر أمورنا وص... وص... ويا... و... اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. الله يا رحمن يا رحيم, the most gracious, merciful. We have nothing to say but our gratitude to you, Ya Rabb. Thanks to the abundance of your grace and compassion on this blessed afternoon, we were able to take part in the 6th edition of International Conference of Economics, Business and Entrepreneurship, ICEBE Forum. We humbly ask for the abundance of grace from you. Ya Allah, Ya Alim al-Bashir, verily you are all-knowing and all-seeing in everything, but physical and mental, what we saw and what we counsel. Your knowledge is so vast and infinite. So please, O Rabb, bestow upon us useful knowledge. Please give us of the strength to be able to put our little knowledge into practice for the benefits of our people and nation. أصلح لنا يا رب, أصلح لنا يا رب, أصلح لنا يا رب. Please guide us to always improve our deeds wherever we are. Ya Allah, Ya Ghafur, you are the most forgiving essence. We realize, Ya Rab, we are not perfect human beings. Sometimes we are complacent about the beauty of the world in our view. Please forgive us, Ya Rab. Forgive the sins of our parents. Please grant us the strength to be able to perfect our devotion to both of them. To whom else can we ask forgiveness, Ya Rab, while we find you the most forgiving and merciful. ربنا تقبل دعاءنا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا أتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. فلك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Andri Kasrani for leading the prayers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, next we will have an event report and a highlight about the conference by our conference chairman, Mr. Arif Darmawan, SAMA. To Mr. Arif Darmawan, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Vice Rector of Finance, University of Lampung, Professor Rudy SHLMM LLD. The Honorable the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, Professor Dr. Nairobi SMSE. The Honorable Head of LP3M, Head of Bureau, Head of Graduate School, Deans and Vice Deans, Head of Study Program in the University of Lampung. On this occasion, I sincerely thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing, grace, and mercy for guiding us in organizing this year's international event. I welcome all the participants of the 6th International Conference of Economics, Business, and Entrepreneurship, ICEBE 2023, with the theme echoing the financial and digital transformations to support inclusive economic growth. The conference output, primarily all the accepted and presented articles, will be published in the European Digital Library, part of European Innovation and EBSCO DOAG ProQuest. The recommendation paper based on the review will be selected and go into the following process for publications in the international and national accreditation journals. The presenter will learn through a series of plenary sessions from our distinguished speaker during the conference. In the morning, we have a side event that gives all the participants, the lecturers, and also the student for giving the benefit to enhance the quality of the paper. Participants also go directly into parallel session, which we held tomorrow, with a special award for the best presenter. As the goal to become a world-class university, Universitas Lampung, especially the Faculty of Economics and Business, continually support and gathers the platform to engage the academicians, government sector, researchers, and students to join in the international academic meeting through this conference. Moreover, with the annual conference, the FEB Unila can contribute and support the vision of Universitas Lampung to become one of the top world-class university. For your kindly information, we received more than 82 articles from around the world. Furthermore, more than 28 universities are involved and participated in this conference. At this moment, I also want to thank to our host partner university, Universitas Pasundan, Universitas Sriwijaya, Universitas Bangka Belitung, and St. Petersburg Management Economic and Technology, Russia. We were also sincerely grateful to have our prominent sponsor for today's event. They are PT Pertamina Persero, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, PT Bukit Asam Persero, PT Pegadaian Wilayah 2, Palembang, Bank Lampung, Pemerintah Kabupaten Waikanan, PT Pupuk Sriwijaya, and Penerbit Erlangga. Thank you for your kind support in making this event come true. I also want to deliver my honor to our invited speaker for sharing their knowledge and dedication, which has helped us better understand the topic that will be discussed today. They are Bapak Bambang Hermanto, Head of OJK Lampung Province, Profesor Dr. Imbarin Bujang, Professor in Financial Economics, University of Technology Marayu, ICEBE, Malaysia, Dr. Serkan Yücel, Head of Department in Istanbul Financial Center, the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, CEO of WR Advisory Group, the Philippines, Dr. George Varlamov, Associate Professor in International Finance and Trade, SMTU, Russia, and also Dr. Ernie Hendrawati, Associate Professor in Finance from the University of Lampung. Your valuable insight have shown us the way forward in finance, technology, and also economic growth. Lastly, with the support of all committee members, from lecturers and also from the student, I cannot thank you for your hard work and genuine contribution to this conference. Once again, thank you for all your valuable contributions, and I eagerly participate witnessing positive impact that will undoubtedly result from our time together during the conference. This is all from me, and I hope this event will run well until the end. From ICEBE to Indonesia. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Anip Darmawan, for the report.
The second speech will be delivered by the Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Lampung, Professor Dr. Nairobi MSE. To Professor Dr. Nairobi, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rector of the University of Lampung, represented by the Vice Rector of Finance, Professor Rudy, the Honorable Vice Rector, Head of Bureau, Head of LPPM, Head of LP3M, Vice Dean, Head of Study Program in University Lampung, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, let me send all my retweet to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing and mercy, we can gather on this occasion to hold our event with the great atmosphere and ambience. Secondly, I would like to send a very warm welcome to SIG International Conference in Economic Business and Entrepreneurship, ICEBE 2023, with in this year theme is echoing the financial and digital transformation to support inclusive economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, as the Dean FEB Unila, I want to thank all committees for facilitating and supporting such a great event. It is an honor and the privilege to stand before you today as we gather here from different corners in the world to engage in the meaningful discussion and collaboration that will undoubtedly shape the future of global economy. As the part of celebrating of anniversary of 58 University Lampung, the ICEBE are welcome distinguished speaker and expert from all around the world. I would like to welcome and introduce all the invited speakers in this conference. They are Mr. Bambang Hermanto, Head of Financial Services Authority, OJK, Provinsi Lampung, Lampung Province. Profesor Dr. Imbarin Buja, Professor in Financial Economic University of Technology Mara, UITM Malaysia. Dr. Serkan Yüksel, Head of Department in Istanbul Financial Center, the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey. Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, CEO of WR Advisory Group Philippines. Dr. George Farlov, Associate Professor in International Finance and Trade, University of Management, Technology, and Economic, St. Petersburg, Russia. Dr. Ernie Hendrawati, Associate Professor in Finance, Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Faculty of Economic and Business, University Lampung. Ladies and gentlemen, during the conference, we will investigate financial innovation, including the examination of recent development in financial technology, blockchain, cryptocurrency, which are shaping international banking and investment practice. We will also engage in conversation about an impact of digitization, automation, and artificial intelligence of improving efficiency, boosting productivity, and promoting economic growth. Furthermore, we will emphasize the vital necessity of granting that the advantage of financial and digital transformation extend to every sector of society without exclusion, while also promoting international partnership and cooperation to leverage the potential of this revolutionary technology for the betterment of all. Along with that, I conclude my speech. I would like to sincerely thank you, our sponsor, co-host, university, media partner, and publisher for generosity support ICEBE 2023. They are PT Pertamina Persero, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, PT Bukit Asam, PT Pegadaian Wilayah 2 Palembang, Persero, Waikanan District Government, PT Pupuk Sriwijaya, Persero, Penerbit Erlangga, and Bank Lampung. And for our co-host university, University Sriwijaya, South Sumatra, University Pandan, West Java, Universitas Bangka Belitung, and University of Management, Technology, and Economic, St. Petersburg, Russia. And for our media partner, Tegar TV and Unila TV. Thank you for kindly support and build a good cooperation with FEB Unila. I am expressing my hope for successful and beneficial outcome for all involved to apologize if any mistake were made. And one more, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your attention and good luck and fruitful discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Professor Dr. Nairobi for the speech.
The third speech will be delivered by Vice Director of General and Finance Affairs, Universitas Lampung, Dr. Rudy LLM, LLD, and will open the sixth ICB officially.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Lampung. Head of LP3M, and distinguished speaker, esteemed colleagues, respected guests, delegates, and participants of the 6th ICEBE 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Salam. Nabi pun. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm and welcome to the 6th ICEBE. The 6th ICEBE 2023 is one of the many events organized to commemorate the University of Lampung 58th anniversary for this Natalis Universitas Lampung. The 6th ICEBE theme honing the financial and digital transformation to support inclusive economic growth. Truly, it is a distinct honor to stand before you today and inaugurate this esteemed gathering of intellectual minds and visionaries from around the world. The theme of this conference today resonates profoundly with the current global landscape. The fusion of finance and digital technology is driving remarkable changes in the world of commerce, economics, and society. It is incumbent upon us as scholars and leaders to comprehend, adapt to, and harness these transformative waves to create a future that is both inclusive and prosperous for all. First, I want to thank our honorable speakers for sharing their knowledge, which has helped us better understand the topics that will be discussed today. There are Mr. Bambang Hermanto, Head of OJK Lampung Province, Professor Dr. Imberin Bujang, Professor in Financial Economics, University of Technology Mara, Malaysia, Dr. Serkan Yuksok, Head of Department in Istanbul Financial Center, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, CEO of WR Advisory Group Philippines, Dr. Jos Parmalao, Associate Professor in International Finance and Trade, University of Management, Technology and Economics, St. Petersburg, Russia. And of course, our Associate Professor Ernie Hendrawati, Vice Dean of Economic Affairs, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Lampung. Of course, your valuable insights have shown us the way forward in finance, technology, and economic growth. For that, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our sponsors, to co-host universities, our media partner, and the publisher of their generous support of the SIG ICEBE 2023. And of course, your contribution to the event is invaluable. And thank you for your support. I hope this cooperation and collaboration can be re-established in the future. In addition, I also appreciate the participants who come from various places to engage in this enriching discussion. Involvement, thoughtful question, and diverse perspective made this conference lively and intellectually stimulating event. Last one, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Faculty of Economic and Business with their committee as well, whose hard work and careful planning and execution have made this event a reality. I truly send my appreciation for your generous support for establishing a strong collaboration with Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Lampung, and with University of Lampung. As we move forward beyond this conference, let's take us the lesson learned, connection formed, and the motivation we have gained. Let's keep the themes and discussion of this event alive in our work and research, working forward a future that is more inclusive, innovative, and fair. Once again, thank you for all your valuable contribution, and I eagerly anticipate witnessing the positive impact that will undoubtedly result from our time together during this conference. And I hereby declare ICEBE 6 has opened. Thank you, and may you all continue to inspire and motivate in your respective research and studies. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita.
Thank you to Professor Rudy. Professor Rudy, please remain on stage because we'll officially open the 6th ICEBE. We would like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, Professor Dr. Nairobi. Please come to the stage to the gong hitting session. Ladies and gentlemen, the 6th ICEBE is finally open. Please give big applause.
Thank you to Vice Rector of General and Finance Affairs Universitas Lampung, Professor Rudy, Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Lampung, Professor Dr. Nairobi, Head of Research and Community Service Institute Universitas Lampung, and you may return to your seat.
All the distinguished participants, we are going to the next agenda, which is giving the token of appreciation to the sponsor and the co-host of this event.
We would like to invite all the sponsors for today's event, PT Pertamina Persero, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, PT Bukit Asam Persero, PT Pegadaian, PT Pupuk Sriwijaya, Pemerintah Kabupaten Waikanan, Penerbit Erlangga, and Bank Lampung for receiving the token of appreciation. Okay, we would like to invite Otoritas Jasa Keuangan and also PT Bukit Asam And also we invite Erlangga, penerbit Erlangga, and also Bank Lampung to receive the token of appreciation. And we like to invite the Vice Rector of General Finance Affairs Universitas Lampung, Professor Rudy, to give the token of appreciation to our amazing sponsor for today's event. I'd like to invite also our host university for this amazing event today, representative of Universitas Sriwijaya, Mr. Isnu Hadi, PhD, Vice Dean of FEB Universitas Sriwijaya, to receive the token of the appreciation.
Well, thank you very much. Please give big applause to all the leaders who have supported the implementation of the 6th ICEBE 2023. Next, we will have a photo session together for your pleasure from the Vice Rector of General and Finance Affairs, Professor Rudy, the Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, the keynote speaker, Mr. Bambang Hermanto, and invited speaker, Mrs. Ernie Hendrawati, Vice Dean, Head of Department, Head of Study Program, to take photos together. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in the International Conference of Economic, Business, and Entrepreneurship ICEBE 6 2023 with the theme of Echoing the Financial and Digital Transformation to Support Inclusive Economic Growth.
And this event sponsored by PT Pertamina Persero,
Otoritas Jasa Keuangan,
PT Bukit Asam Persero,
PT Pegadaian Wilayah 2 Palembang,
PT Pupuk Sriwijaya,
Pemerintah Kabupaten Waikanan,
Penerbit Erlangga,
Bank Lampung,
and our media partner for today's event, Gar TV and Unila TV.
Well, Ladies and gentlemen, we will go to the main session, the keynote speech from Mr. Bang Hermanto.
For the next session, we will have our main agenda, a keynote speaker for Mr. Bambang Hermanto, Head of the Financial Service Authority OJK of Lampung Province. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big applause to our keynote speakers, Mr. Bambang Hermanto, to continue this conference. To Mr. Bambang Hermanto, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Head, Rector of the University Lampung, represented by Professor Rudy, the Honorable Dean of Business and Economics Faculty University of Lampung, Profesor Dr. Nairobi. Thank you, Pak Rudi dan Pak Nairobi, have invitation UCK to be a keynote speaker in the great international conference. And the Honorable academician, financial expert, Vice Dean of Business and Economic Faculty of University of Lampung, Dr. Ernie Hendrawati, and the Honorable all speaker, Head of Istanbul Financial Center, the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, Dr. Serkan Yüksel, and the Honorable CEO of WR Advisory Group Philippines, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, and the Honorable Professor in Financial Economic, University of Technology Mara, Malaysia, Professor Dr. Imarin Bujang, and also the Honorable Associate Prof in International Finance and Trade, University of Management Technology and Economic, Saint Petersburg, Russia, Dr. George Varlamov, and also the Honorable lecturer at Lampung University and Brawijaya University, Sriwijaya University, and all participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tapi pun, I think the local wisdom have to say in this forum. First of all, let us pray and express our gratitude to the presence of the Almighty God for His mercy and grace, so that we are all healthy and have the opportunity to gather and attend this event. SIG International Conference of Economic Business and Entrepreneurship 2023. I think this strongly related with our duty as OJK, as a financial services authority, because we have a concern to push financial literacy and inclusion, and these themes of international conference, I think is interesting because we have a same concern to push digital transformation through the ongoing the financial and digital transformation to support inclusive economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants, in accordance with law number 21 of 2011 concerning the Financial Service Authority, one of the objectives of establishing the Financial Service Authority of or OJK is so that all activities in the financial services sector are able to protect the interests of customer and the public. To make this happen, OJK provide information and education to the public regarding the characteristic of the financial services sector, services and product in order to increase financial inclusion in various regions, including Lampung province. We have a presentation material, I think. Financial literacy is the knowledge, skill, confidence that influence a person's attitude and financial behavior to improve the quality of decision making and financial management to achieve prosperity. And financial inclusion is the availability of access for the community to utilize financial product and or services at formal financial institution in accordance with the community's need and ability to realize prosperity. To objective financial literacy and financial inclusion is one of objective of OJK that we have target in 2024 about 90 level percent to achieve financial inclusion in Indonesia. Financial inclusion is like a way to improve the quality of life and welfare of society. When everyone can easily access financial institution, product and services, it will help because it will help various social and economic aspect of life. That is why we continuously push for faster and broader financial inclusion. The National Survey of Financial Literacy and Inclusion carried out by the Financial Services Authority or OJK in 2022 so that the level of financial literacy and inclusion of student group is still relatively low. Namely, financial literacy age on 15 until 17 years is about 43.228%. In national, the financial literacy is 49.68%. And financial inclusion, it's in 15 until 17 years is about was 69.30%. In national, the financial inclusion have reached about 85.10%. Financial inclusion in Indonesia from 2013 to 2021 has increased start from 2013 at 59.74% until in 2021 83.6%. Meanwhile, in Lampung province itself, in 2022, the literacy rate reached 41.30% and financial inclusion reached uh, 74 and point 81%. It means we have a homework of this gap because the literacy and the income in Lampung are still below from a national. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants, the Financial Services Authority or OJK continues to accelerate the implementation of digital transformation in the financial services sector to support increasing the public financial literacy and inclusion index, thereby supporting national economic recovery effort. This digital transformation phenomenon certainly has an impact on society, requiring it to be able to adapt to these changes. OJK, following up on Law Number 4, 2023, concerning development and strengthening of the financial sector, has also strengthened the organization, one of which is adding a chief executive who handles supervision of financial sector technology innovation, digital financial asset, and crypto asset. The potential for digitalization in Indonesia has the opportunity to become ASEAN largest e-commerce, increasing internet penetration, demographic bonus, and the development of fintech and digital financial innovation. This is supported by the presence of 200 and 4.7 million active internet user, and then 191.4 million active social media user, and 370.1 million mobile phone connection. The President of Republic of Indonesia, like I said, in the Indonesian National Strategy for Financial Inclusion on January 28, 2020, said that Indonesia financial inclusion target in 2024 is 90%. Ladies and gentlemen, and students and all participants, some strategies to achieve financial inclusion are increasing access to formal financial services. Of course, we know in Indonesia, loan shark, ya, rentenir in bahasa, must be face to eliminated, yeah, with education the people to transaction with formal financial services. And then number two, increasing consumer literacy and protection and expansion of the reach of financial services, strengthening access to capital and development support for micro and small enterprises, improvement of digital financial product and services, and strengthening the integration of inclusive economic and financial activities through at least digital financial services. Strategies for increasing financial inclusion are strengthening policies and regulation, and then balanced regulatory framework is needed so that optimal synergy with financial industry can be formed, but consumer protection is maintained. In infrastructure strengthening, providing a network that can reach remote areas, as well as increasing information system security to deal with potential risk of cybercrime, risk of personal data leakage, and risk of misuse of technology. And then we do a campaign and massive publication in order to increase public awareness regarding financial inclusion program and activities. And then increasing synergy between ministries or institution, regulators, financial services industry players, and all relevant stakeholders in encourage increase of financial inclusion. The implementation of digital financial literacy with the aim of increasing public awareness is intended to enhance consumer protection, investor security, and efficient digital financial transaction. Ladies and gentlemen, some of challenge of financial inclusion we face to is about mismatch between the needs and capabilities of society in various segments with appropriate financial product. There are potential risks from the aspect of customer protection, such as the risk of cybercrime, yeah, and the risk of personal data leakage, and the risk of misuse of technology. Network that do not reach remote areas yet, and the readiness of human resources to face digitalization development in the context of accelerating financial inclusion. And then finally, the level of financial literacy is still low. So there are still many people who do not understand the function and benefit of financial product and services. Ladies and gentlemen, the financial inclusion program at the central level is prepared and coordinated by National Council for Inclusive Finance, or DNKI. Meanwhile, financial inclusion program in each region are coordinated and implemented by the Regional Financial Access Acceleration Team, or we call it as a TPAKD, which includes element regional government, regulator, academic, financial practitioner, and related stakeholders. Digitalization in encourage financial inclusion, financial program like Bank Wakaf Mikro Digital and branchless banking with agen laku pandai, digitalisasi of student saving with simple credit financing against the money lender or loan charge, peer-to-peer lending, kur online, and securities crowdfunding. And we had to in October next financial inclusion month, or we call it bulan inklusi keuangan. And then we heard about a product for micro, small, and medium enterprise credit on digital. And then digitalization of Indonesia UMKM, ICEBE, and we have application for search services and in a region with Lokasiku. And digital-based financial literacy, we have a learning management system, social media, and then mini set that the mini set is a source of digital or online. We can learn about all of a sector in financial capital market, banking, insurance. We can learn all of that in Sikapi Uangmu mini site, and the digital financial literacy module. Awareness for society so that it can improve customer protection, investor security, and efficient digital financial transaction. Ladies and gentlemen, the aim of holding ICEBE 2023 activities is to provide knowledge and skill to participants on how to conduct research, publish a research result, disseminate research result, and examine the latest research issue in the field of economic and business, especially those related to the sustainable development. It is hoped that this event, participants will gain additional knowledge about tips for writing quality article that can penetrate reputable international publication. Apart from that, through this activity, it's hoped that the latest research study them in the field of economy business will emerge. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants, finally, financial inclusion is a strategic issue that require sustainable synergy between various stakeholders. In the future, the stakeholder can work together to build a sustainable, inclusive finance. In the end, my cannot speak. Maybe I will say pantun, yeah. But pantun can I translate to English, yeah, in bahasa. Oke, please cekapnya. Jalan-jalan ke Pahawang. Pulangnya lewat Masjid Apung. Bersama kita dorong akses keuangan untuk mendukung perekonomian daerah di Provinsi Lampung. Oke, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Bambang Hermanto for the speech. Next agenda, we invite the Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Lampung to Professor Dr. Nairobi to give the souvenir to our keynote speaker this afternoon. To Mr. Bambang Hermanto, you may go to the front. Thank you to Mr. Bambang Hermanto and Professor Dr. Nairobi, SA, MSE.
Next, we'll have a photo session together. We ask for your pleasure from Vice Rector of University of Lampung, Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, our keynote speaker, Mr. Bambang Hermanto, invited speaker, Mrs. Ernie Hendrawati, Vice Dean, Head of Department, Head of the Program to take photos together.
Mr. and Mrs. The first photo session will be taken in front of the stage with our ICEBE 6 background. First, we will have a formal picture. We will count in First, we will have a formal picture. We will count in 3, 2, 1. Second, you may raise your hand and say, Unila, be strong. We will count in 3, 2, 1.
And we'll have a photo session for the audience. With audience, you might raise. Yeah, first we will have a photo picture. We will count. Okay, for the audience, please raise. Okay, for all the audience, please raise. We taking photos together. Okay. We'll count in 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. You may raise your hand and say, Unila, be strong. 3, 2, 1, Unila, be strong. Please give applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still at the International Conference of Economic, Business, and Entrepreneurship, ICEBE 6 2023, with the theme Echoing the Financial and Digital Transformation to Support Inclusive Economic Growth.
This event sponsored by PT Pertamina Persero,
Otoritas Jasa Keuangan,
PT Bukit Asam Persero,
PT Pegadaian Wilayah 2 Palembang,
PT Pupuk Sriwijaya,
Pemerintah Kabupaten Waikanan,
Penerbit Erlangga,
Bank Lampung,
and our media partner Tegar TV and Unila TV. Ladies and gentlemen, we will enter a panel session with 5 speakers this morning and will be guided directly by lecturer of FEB Unila. Please welcome Mrs. Shahrani Nur Fatihah SEMAK.
Mrs. Yahrani Nur Fatia SAMAK is a lecturer of FEB Unila for study program of accounting. She received her bachelor and master degree of accounting in Universitas Lampung. Mrs. Yahrani Nur Fatia has done various research in economic studies and received her HKI with title Exploration of Good Governance on the Minimization of Corruption in Asia Pacific. Mrs. Yahrani, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Conference on Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, along with this conference theme, we generate actionable insights and recommendations that can guide governments, businesses, and organizations in leveraging technology to advance economic growth while ensuring the inclusivity. To enlarge our perspective and achieve these conference purposes, together we feature 5 qualified speakers that coming from Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, and Russia. Before we start our panel session today, let me to read out some following rules for the technical things through our panel session today. The first one is this session will be divided into 2 sessions. On the first session of panel session, we will be having 3 speakers and we will be having 2 speakers after. Second one, each speakers will be having 20 minutes to present the presentation. And then last one, after speakers' presentations, I'll be opening the discussion session for another 20 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, now I think without any further ado, let's us to greet and welcome our first panel session speaker. The first one, I think I would like to greet Dr. Robin Michael Garcia. Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, are you already with us?
Oh,
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
hi, good afternoon. Yeah.
Welcome to the ICEBE 6. Thank you so much for your presence today. Next one, I would like to greet Professor Dr. Imbarin Bujang, ASTK, ATK. Sir, are you also already with us today?
Yes, I am.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to the ICEBE 6. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and then last but not the least, for our first panel session today, we will be having our third speaker, which is coming online here with us. So I think she will be like sitting beside me. Ladies and gentlemen, please giving some applause and welcome to Dr. Ernie Hendrawati, SAMSC. This is please to join me at the stage. Welcome to every speakers for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's do and begin our first panel session. We will be having the presentations from each speakers and also the discussion after, like I already said. The first one, our first speaker is Dr. Robin Michael Garcia. Sir, your presentation time is already here. And also you might be sharing your screen. And before you start the presentation, sir, let me to read your profile first. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia is the president and CEO of WR Advisory Group, the Philippines. He is a founder and chairman of WR Numerical Research. He is also an assistant professor, political economy, UANP, School Social Sciences, Law and Governance. And last one, he is cited by CNN Philippines, Manila Bulletin, Philippine Star, Al Jazeera, China Daily, South China Morning Post. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Robin Michael Garcia. Sir, now time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. Can I be allowed to share my screen, or will you?
You might share your screen, sir.
I'm trying to, but oh, there you go.
Okay.
So someone else did that for me.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much to the University of Lampung for inviting me. Just a little bit of trivia. The first country I've been to outside of the Philippines is Indonesia. That was 20 years ago. I went to Jakarta in Bandung, and then I've been to Jakarta many times since then. The last time I think was before the pandemic in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. I'm happy to be here in this conference to talk to you today about something, a topic that's close to my heart. Of course, it's as you can see the title, it's about political risks. But let me preface that by saying that I I run a public affairs firm and I'm a political scientist by training. And the public affairs firm, one of the things that we do there is to advise companies on the risks involved when they operate in markets. I mean, any country, for instance, in the ASEAN and the Philippines. Apart from that, I'm also an advisor in foreign affairs at the House of Representatives of the Philippines. But in all the things that I do, what ties all those roles I have is a central concern for politics and political analysis. So the theme of our conference today is about digital technologies and digitalization to be able to achieve economic growth. And we know that the rise of digital and frontier technologies is one of the most important social forces in the last decade. And since then we've constantly talked about the role of technology in social and political life and how it might be important for development. So, there are a lot of huge. There's an eruption of social media companies. There's an eruption of digital technologies, data analytics, artificial intelligence. But we have to go back to something more fundamental. And the argument that I'm making today is that all economies and markets are embedded in politics. So what that means is that political events and political variables affect the way markets succeed or fail. in any given time, in any given point. And over the last few years that we've been advising technology companies, um, we've we've seen that one of the barriers towards digital adaptation is basically policy oriented, or the weakness of bureaucracies as well in understanding the role of digital and creating the right policy environment to enable digital technologies to thrive in specific markets. And so that's why those are questions of politics and government, right? So we have to go back to the issue of the political variables, the government variables that might affect the success of digitalization in a particular country. And so that's why what I'm going to talk about today are what we call political risks. So political risk is an emerging field. In Asia, there are some firms who do this already. As an academic field, several scholars have ventured into this kind of research. But basically, political risks are the factors and variables that might affect the operation of a market and of a specific industry. And so what I did was to identify and outline the political risks that might affect the achievement of digitalization technology in Asia. And across all of these political risks, what we've seen is that um, there are two themes basically. So a lot of them is international, and a lot of them have to do with the domestic political conditions as well. So you can see five risks here. Thank you for. We see the U.S.-China relations, competition. Whether or not it's improving, is a factor towards the that might affect the success of internet and conductor industry, as well as the other companies involved in technologies. And we also see um, in the second place the issue of China and Taiwan, which might affect us also. So I'll explain that later. In the ASEAN, the issue of the South China Sea is a big issue that continue to haunt governments. And so I'll try to explain how exactly that affects markets too. And then you have elections in Asia, and then elections in the United States. So I'll jump into that each uh, one by one. Next slide, please. So we know that in the last few years, the United States and China have been competing. The rise of China is one of the most important um, events in the last few decades since the end of the Cold War in the 90s. We saw the unipolar moment of the United States decrease as China increased its power. And the power of China begins with the technological aspects, right? But one of the things that really evolved in the US-China competition and relationship is the technology war that's been waged in the last few years. In fact, we've seen this accelerate as the new president in the United States came into power. President Donald Trump has prioritizes unilateralism over multilateralism, and basically he thinks that all types of partnerships and relationships with countries, that the United States has to gain more relatively than another country, and when he sees that a country is threatening, that they're or threatening or that the United States is not getting enough from that relationship, that he sort of imposes some actions that might not be good for that country and for the world. And so we've seen that the tech war and trade war. So there were embargoes, there were restrictions in trade, but specifically on the tech sector. We saw that Huawei, for example, is banned in the United States, and some American tech products have already been banned as well in China. So we see this, affecting the adoption of digital technologies in those countries as well as in other countries. And of course, that complicates the whole supply chain across the world, not just in semiconductors, but also in the usage of digital technologies, in these countries. So we think that that's the first issue we might encounter as we look at the political risks in digitalization. Next, please. And, we saw that over the last few years as well, while there's competition, there are some opportunities for cooperation as well. So this is something that we have to look at very closely. And we know that the US will have elections. I'll discuss that later. The second political risk we see is the relationship between China and Taiwan. This is specifically important because one is responsible for 60%. And if you understand the semiconductor industry is responsible for a lot of the technology inputs in most, if not all, of the important technologies that are being circulated in the economy today. So you talk about hardware, for example, mobile phones, electric vehicles, and things like that. And so this is a huge political risk for the whole world. All the countries that are involved in producing and manufacturing technologies. So a possible conflict between China and Taiwan will affect the ability for us to trade and definitely to produce those products. It's also a defense and military issue. And of course, this is an issue of capabilities of the United States, whether the US can and will be able to produce defense products. Another aspect, a political risk, is the South China Sea. It's not directly related to technology, but we know that this has been a flashpoint. And in the ASEAN, we have hopes for economic integration. We have the ASEAN Economic Community, but because the security relationship between China and the ASEAN states, it doesn't matter what you feel about the South China Sea and the territorial disputes. The point is, if there's conflict among countries inside the ASEAN or the ASEAN and China, that will affect the integration economically that we want to achieve. We have a lot of trade with China. And there's a lot of trade among ASEAN countries too. So if the South China Sea issue becomes more than what it is today, it will affect all the relationships that we've established over the last 2 years. Yes, please. You also have elections, and I was going to say that, and this is the second to last slide. I was going to say that the elections is always a tricky issue, not just because it will affect our lives, but also because it will affect the type of policies that will be promulgated and that will be implemented down the line. So, for example, if you have a candidate or a political party that's more friendly towards protectionist policies, or that's a little bit more nationalistic in the technology space, then that will definitely affect the type of policies that will be imposed, right? There is what we call data nationalism. So basically, to impose the access to data. So right now, data centers, so there are huge data centers across the world, and there are countries that have more data centers than others. So data hosting, for example, is being done in Singapore or the United States rather than in the host country. So um, the industries that are data heavy will have to rely on other countries to be able to store their data and to process their data. So what happens in data nationalism is that you basically nationalize data. You don't export data and you don't allow other countries to get that data. And so you're not allowed to host data in other countries. And so some political figures and some policymakers have raised the issue of data nationalism. And so elections is an opportunity to to change policies. And if there's a political leader or policy proposal coming from a political leader that's skewed towards data nationalism, then that's something that we might see in the next few years, right? We know that the rise of populism and populist leaders had was threatening to a lot of markets because a lot of populist leaders are also nationalists. And so if they're nationalists economically, then that might be an issue going into economic policy making, right? So that's why elections are always crucial. But in terms of conflict, we see that there's elections in a lot of countries in the world. So there's elections in Indonesia, of course. There's elections as well in Taiwan. And so we'll see if you'll have a pro-US or pro-China government in Taiwan, and that will spell the stability in the region. In the Philippines, you'll also have elections in 2025, but the filing of candidacy is next year in October. And of course, you have the elections in the United States, which is the last slide. Also have a move to the last slide. It's a final slide on US election, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's fine. So there's another slide on the US elections, but the point is elections is a potential political risk for companies. And it's something that companies and governments and industries have to look out for as they operate in the to achieve their economic goals. And we think that if you look at the political risks we outlined, all of them are international, but they're directly relevant to technology adaptation and digital technologies. And so I'll end there, and I'm happy to take a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Dr. Robin Michael Garcia. Please hold on for some minutes, sir, because after this, we will continue again with you to our discussion session. But we will finish first for the second speaker and also our third speaker. Please hold on for some minutes, sir. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our presentations from our speaker. We will be having Professor Dr. Imbarin Bujang, ASDK, ADK. Professor, are you still with us?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Professor, your presentation time is here. You have 20 minutes and you might be sharing your screen, or you might just ask me like if you want me to share your screen as well.
I cannot share my screen. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah.
Of course, need to give me a permission.
Oh, okay. Could the host give the permission first to Professor Imbarin so he could share his screen? Okay, I think your presentation is there.
Right.
Okay, Professor, hold on. I would like to read your profile first before you do your presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Dr. Wimbarin Bujang ASTK ATK is a professor in Financial Economics, University of Technology Mara, UITM, Malaysia. He finished his doctoral study at Edith Cowan University, Australia. His research work expertise is on financial economics, econometrics, investment, financial management, and research methodology. He is also a chairman of ICEBE Committee SSB from 2021 till 2023. He is also a board of director IDS from 2023 until 2024. He is also a visiting professor at our faculty, which is Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Lampung. Professor Dr. Imbarin Bujang ISTK ADK, Professor, time is yours.
Right, thank you very much, for the kind introduction. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon to everyone, especially to all the delegate, presenter, and participant. And first of all, I would like to congratulate the conference organizer, okay, especially all the committees for the successful of this conference. And also to express my special thanks to the conference organizer for inviting me as an invited speaker for today. So I think not to forget as well our keynote speaker this afternoon, Mr. Bambang Hamanto from OJK, and then the CEO of WR of the Advisory Group Philippines, Mr. Dr. Robin Michael Grasso, Dr. Ernie, other speakers, and then also Dr. Sekan itself from Istanbul, and last but not least, the associate professors, Dr. George Balmore from the St. Petersburg. I think this one I need to introduce. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, like today, I would like to share something that reflect to the conference theme, which is echoing the financial and digital transformation to support inclusive economic growth. Today, I would like to share with you about the embedded financial and technology transformation to inclusive economic growth in the 21st century. Can we go to the next slide, please? So when we look at this, what do you call this? When we look at this, when we look at this inclusion economic model, I'm sure that we are already aware that economic growth is actually quite huge model, and it started from the traditional model until the latest versions. But when we're talking about the inclusion of economic growth, means that we always talk about that what will be the impact to the society. Yeah. So in case that in terms of the financial transformations, when we're talking about the financial transformation, it's about the financial inclusion, the financial knowledge and other financial skills that the people have to have. Then that's why we also that's why the presentation today is more focused on how we blend this financial transformation and also the digital transformation through technology. Then we create what we call as a social innovation. And what is actually the social innovation is actually referred to the creation of the implementation in terms of ideas, concept, the processes to address the social challenges. So if you look at the financial transformation, I put in bracket here the society banks, because this is actually will be the future directions in order to enhance the financial knowledge among people and give impact to the knowledge, and also utilize the digital transformation into a daily life. So basically, if you want to introduce what we call the social innovation, it's come with the six important elements, which is actually focused on the social impact, definitely. And the second one, the way how the social innovations can be created is actually it must be true with the collaboration. And this is often that we heard about the collaboration among various stakeholders, including the government agencies, non-profit organizations, business communities, and so on. This is what has been said by Mr. Bambang just now. Yeah. In terms of the system, where we need also what we call as user-centered design when we're talking about the social innovation. So the social innovation are typically develop a deep understanding and the need of preferences, behavior, and people aim to serve. This user-centered approach ensure the solution are the relevance, what do you call this, a relevant and effective way. And the most important thing is, okay, that the fourth element under the social innovations is what they call this novelty. Yeah, a novelty means that there's a new approaches which is actually give a huge impact and sustainability. And that's why number five element will be the sustainability, and the last one is must be adaptability. Okay, the next slide, please. So, others example of the social innovation we can see here is actually the most popular one is actually the microfinance, and it also include the fair trade and also social entrepreneurship. And what is actually the latest one about the funding about the fintech financial technology? It also required us to come up with the alternative social financial assistance that's and lead us to have the healthcare access as well as the technology open sharing. Now, I would like to address this technology open sharing. What does it mean? It's actually it's more on the open source of the software. Most of the open software movement has produced software solution which is freely available, and it actually will give back to the benefit to the society, and also will give impact and reduce the social problems. Yeah. Next slide, please. Now, basically, it's actually basically we are actually in the world what we call as a VUCA world. So at the current stage, most of the countries are trying harder to push the economic performance and the post-pandemic situation. Running business as usual could not be the best strategy for a strategy to achieve the inclusivity of the economic growth. VUCA world, a need things. Okay, that's why if you look at from the slide just here, it's actually from the element of VUCA, what is actually the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous. So when we're talking about the volatility, it's referring to the create a robust economic inclusion model for transformation, brain tactic, and one is the uncertainty is actually achieve high efficiency and quality compliance to expected the circumstances of the world fragility. And the next one is complexity. We need to reduce the overall complexity to enable the development and adapting universal concept in the economics inclusion. And the last one, ambiguous, is actually we need to reduce the ambiguous in terms of establishing the unify and the involvement of the economic inclusion. Right? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now, therefore, to have an inclusive economic growth, this is actually, I think, like most of us already seen this, the sustainable development, the 17 elements of this, sustainable development goal by the United Nations. So apart from this 17, we also need to understand and how it actually can create an holistic inclusion economic growth, at the same time can implement whatever strategy that every country want to do in order to achieve this what they call the inclusion of economic growth. Okay, next one, please. Now, in this presentation, I would like to highlight the elements before we think about the holistic of the what we call the holistic inclusive economic growth. And apart from the 17 sustainable goal, we also have to also understand, okay, what are actually the industry. So if we look at the industry, understanding the IR 4.0 will lead the corporations and business and society is necessity. The IR 1.0 to IR 4.0 is more on empowering the corporations. But then now, whereby the industry 4.0 would focus on the empowering people to utilize the digital activities in their daily work. Therefore, like the focus of this IR 4.0 is actually more on embracing people, use the IoT things, and also enhance the community. That is the reasons why now we are moving towards the IR 5. But because this is really reflecting to the society 5.0. Now, Apart from these two, another one is actually what we call, the next slide, please. The society, right? There are already five society has been proposed by many researchers. So these researcher in this part is actually we need to understand the evolutions of the society from 1.0 to 5.0. Now I will jump straight away to the 5.0 because that is actually really on empowering the people. So the society, the focus on the inclusive of society, inclusive of the economic growth is actually more focused on the society impact, on the society impact, and in which that it's leading in society 5.0 is actually is lead us to have a proper model of inclusion economic by blending both technology and financial industry as a driver to form a decent work and economic as suggested in the pillar acts of the SDG 2013. So next one, please. Therefore, based on these three fundamental information, which is SDG, the society as well as the industry. So therefore, I would like to introduce you what we call an economic inclusion model through what we call a three-prong model. This three model is actually include, the first one is actually, first stage is called Lampung, and the second one is actually run better and run difference. So as the Lampung is more focused on the zero minimize of the disruptions, and we also have to just run the business as usual with the process standardization and how the knowledge and the transitions can be transferred through the what you call continuous improvement. And when we can have the continuous improvement, that's why the operational excellence on economic inclusivity can be done in the form of the run better. So this one is can be looked at from the perspective of the operational from the continuous improvement and program what we call, and also the transparency of the governance. And the last one under this three-prong model, agility in the economic inclusion, which is fell under the category of the run difference. In this stage, what is actually the country need to do is actually to identify what is the transformation and innovation opportunity. We also need to understand what is actually the next generation of information technology. This is actually for the purpose of the enabling the sustainability. And last but not least is actually enable the technology transformation. Okay, next please. Now we look at one by one. Okay, how actually it can be done under the Lampung, right? Basically, under the Lampung, as I mentioned, as usual. So it's actually like especially after this pandemic, run as usual, and at the same time mitigate the transition, mitigate the risk, and also do the transition. And the second part is actually what they need to do is actually they need to do the organization change where the management of the by understanding what actually the continuous improvement need to be done with the current situation. And last one is actually will be the migration management service pro and also delivery services, right? And last but not least the management service tools implementation. And the last one is actually to the multi-vendor transition responsiveness and economic resilience. Okay, next please. Next. Okay. Now under the land safely, before what is this? Okay. Okay, under the land safely, it's not only just the four elements just now, but it also need a certain thing what need to be done. Okay. What we call is establish the transition. We need to look at because as the technology move very fast. Okay, the way how people taking advantage in terms of the business opportunity, people taking as mentioned by our keynote speaker today is actually the inclusion will come a bit slow as the technologies movement. Okay, that is the reasons why we need to have what they call a transition process. And the next one is actually what we need to do. We have to have what they call a novel implementation and establish the governance. This one is actually to control, to avoid the disruptions in the technology and also the financial development. And we also need to manage our resources in terms of what is needed under the financial innovation and with the help of the shared technology. And last but not least, that's why we have also to align to whatever changes has been made under the between the financial development and also technology. And the organization also need to be integrated by having fulfilled with the social innovation, which is actually will reflect the change. Okay, the next one. Okay, as the social innovation actually has been as actually is a good the it will